Hey, yo, what up? Welcome back. This is not a podcast. It's just my thoughts with Markman. Now, Young Thug has been burning bridges the past couple of weeks. His interrogation tapes found their way online, and based off of the things he said in those tapes, he's being labeled as a snitch by many, like fans, and then, people that he knows or is at odds with in the industry. There's just been a lot of talk about that. Several of his jail calls have made their way online, where he's found speaking very freely, sometimes ill, about people that he's close to. So, those have become memes and the topic of conversation. His girlfriend, Mariah the Scientist, looks like she broke up with him after audio leaked of him bragging about having sex with COs in prison and talking to another woman about having a baby with her. He spoke on Drake and Metro Boomin and their relationship. I did a whole video about that, about how, the Thug call had him explain to his manager that Drake was insensitive when he was pressuring Metro for a record right after Metro's mom had passed. So we got a whole video on that. There was audio of him criticizing Future as a dad and more. He did a really, really insightful interview with Big Bank, which I praised. I did a video on that. But it seems like no one is fucking with Young Thug anymore, or a lot of people aren't fucking with him, because last night he released an apology in the form of a song. It's called Man, I Miss My Dogs. And he announced his You Scuddy album is dropping next week as well, on the 19th, I believe. I'm going to talk about it all right now, but I need y'all to like, subscribe, comment on the channel. Definitely subscribe. We need those numbers up, all right? I'm not going to play any of the audio from the song because they'll claim my video. They claim my Big Bank video because I use pieces of that interview. It's how the game goes. So, when talking about this song, this Man, I Miss My Dogs, I'm just going to go through some lyrics. And at the very end, I'll give you my opinion on the song overall and what I think. But the song starts off with an emotional piano and somebody, I'm not sure who the vocals are, right? It kind of reminded me of Friday, the singer Friday, but I don't think it's him. But I didn't see a name attached, a vocal credit attached. But it starts off with an emotional piano, someone singing about, love for the friends and the good times and the celebratory times that they had, and how those, start to fade and go away. Then Thug starts his raps. His voice sounds a little different, sounds a bit off, but he starts to rap. He dedicates the first verse right away to Mariah the Scientist. Like I said, it looks like they've broken up. That's what everybody believes, and he sent a couple of tweets asking for her to come, just saying he's sorry. But now in this song, lyrics is just baby, I'm sorry, one of the biggest fears is losing you to the internet, waking up in our bed with you right by my neck, saying don't you break a sweat, pillow talking ain't my game, pillow talking ain't my name, pillow talking ain't my name, baby, I love you, I know you see this rain, baby, I love you, I know you feel my pain. Look at these bashing me like Jesus because I made it. Let me just go back, but also losing you to the internet. Like I get it. I'm not gonna super analyze this, but losing you to the internet, the calls were on the internet, but feels like those calls were real. Like, you lost it. Don't look like you lost it to the internet. It look like you lost it because of the things that you said. You made her look crazy out here. It wasn't, but I don't know what her reason is. But also, looking at this bashing me like Jesus because I made it. It's not why they bashing you, brother. Look at all this shit we've been through. Baby crying in Mercedes, fucking jail call. I was playing. I'd never trade you. So he admits to the jail call. Fuck a jail call. I was playing. I'd never trade you. You was encouraging me on my bad days. Pick up the kids despite me being away. That's why every day you wake up and I'm trying to make you happy. I'm sorry for being part of these hoes laughing at you. And maybe we'll get to this in another video. A Glorilla song leak where she's dissing Thug and Mariah the Scientist. I don't know if he's exactly talking about Mariah, but I'm sorry for being a part of these hoes laughing at you. Like, those audios leak, man. You embarrassed your girl, man. I'm sorry for taking you from whoever has you just to put you through this madness. I'm the reason you crashing. How the hell you go to jail for me being bad? I'm the reason they bashing you. Damn. So I don't know. I don't know if Mariah hears this and is like, it takes him back. We'll see. But first verse was for Mariah the Scientist. Second verse was for Drake. He starts off, he says, Drizzy, you my brother. You know I ain't going against you. I got manners. Everything you did for the rap community can't ban you. I think this has like shades of allusion to Kendrick's last verse, "Not Like Us," and just the whole "Not Like Us" thing, and just the rap community, hip hop community. There's a lot of talk about Drake after that battle, and feeling like there's a lot of conversation as to whether Drake is hip hop or not based off of his actions in and after that battle. What Thug is saying, well, everything you did for the rap community can't ban you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it ends up for Drake. Drake is still, I've said this before, still a huge artist. Still, despite losing that battle, despite how we may feel about the lawsuit, I don't agree with it. I've said this before. Many people are down with it. A lot of his fans are still down with it. Everything you did for the rap community can't ban you. He might be right. I don't know if Drake might be too big to get banned, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm not even making a definitive statement there. We'll see. But that's a comment on that. Never dish you. Came to visit me at Cobb County like real can do, so I went to go visit him while he was in jail. Fuck a jail call, the other calls we had. So trying to get you, Metro and Pluto on the same page. The internet don't know about it because realness don't say. Realness do. I learned that from you. So acknowledging the call, right? Where again, it was the call we talked about where Thug was talking about how, Drake was after Metro for that feature. Metro's mom had just passed and Thug clearly didn't agree with that method. You know what I'm saying? So he's just saying fuck a jail call, all the other calls we had. That is just one context. And it don't seem like he was speaking he wasn't speaking favorably about Drake, but I get it. Like Thug made a lot of sense on that call, but Thug is saying, yo, what about all those other calls we had? What about the other hearts to hearts that we had? Like, what means more, this one thing that kind of feels like maybe a transgression or a bigger relationship? Who knows? And then, saying I'm trying to get you, Metro, and Pluto on the same page. He kind of reveals that that's what he did. Remember when Thug sent a tweet right after he got out, or he might have still been in jail. It was around the time when the trial was ending, but he sent a tweet to Drake, Metro, and Future saying that they're all brothers and music ain't the same without them collabing. So, here again, he's kind of verifying or shedding more light on that he was the one who tried to get them together. And then he said, then he talks about Cash from EXO. We had our own differences, but Cash came through and got us on the phone. Like, why you and Cash beefing? He got us on the phone. Cash is Weeknd's manager. Cash is Metro's manager. So, that's part of it. He pulled up to my home. Ever since y'all's differences, it never passed down. It's darkness every day. I called Metro on the phone and told him to let it go. So, he's trying to fix it between Metro and Drake. You can ask him what I say, brother. Some of y'all biggest hits together, the chemistry been there. I don't care about what they say. So he apologizes to Drake. I don't know if Drake is straight up not fucking with him after that call leaked, or if there was something else happened, or maybe he just felt he had to apologize. But he's apologizing to Drake on verse 2. Verse 3 is and real quick too. It also lends support. Remember there was a rumor last year that Drake and Future were back channeling. Elliot Wilson said that they had settled their differences and they talked over the phone. I had heard a similar story from somebody else outside of that whole Elliot thing. But I couldn't prove it, so I didn't say nothing. Like, I was like, okay, I heard it, but I don't know if what I was told was true or not, so I didn't say anything. And then, people Elliot got dragged, and they said Elliot was lying, and that never happened. But this Doug lyric doesn't necessarily prove that, but this Doug lyric lends more support to the rumor that Drake and Future, Doug was trying to get them all together. Maybe they were back channeling, maybe they support him on the maybe they settled their differences behind the scene and Thug helped do that. The lyric doesn't exactly say that though, but it just lends maybe more support that maybe Elliot wasn't so far off or wasn't so crazy. Verse 3 is for Lil Baby. Wham, pick up the phone. Talk to me as Spider. Taught you everything you know about this shit. We for lifers. Wham, pick up the phone. It's funny because when I first heard it, I'm just like, oh, this is a Mariah the Scientist song because it's so emotional. But he's really emotional over his dudes too. Like, Wham, pick up the phone is I'm like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying. But I guess Lil Baby's not talking to him either. So there's that, and he's just talking about his relationship with Baby, and apparently, you're a real dude, but what you do is real and hide it. Gave a couple on this case $75,000, helping with their lawyers and never speak about it. So Baby was providing financial support, lawyer support for YSL, according to Thug. I wish the world knew everything, man. Just like you 1,000 and Trill, you my, I swear to bro. I'm trying to read this, but you see the fonts here. We Foundation of Men. We learned that shit from Pluto, our OGs. So he gives it up to Future. But yeah, so third verse is about Lil Baby. The next verse is about Future, even though he doesn't mention Future by name. It's Future. He says, man, I miss my dogs sitting down and having talks with me, walking me through the life shit. You deserve an apology, standing right beside you, and you was right beside me. I don't got to speak on your name. They know astrology, the stars, even though Pluto isn't a star, it's a planet. Or did Pluto get downgraded to a star? I don't know. I don't know shit about space. But, I don't got to speak your name. They know astrology. He's talking about Future. He's talking about Pluto. And you know that because he starts alluding to, a couple of lines later, I see you to yourself because I know Scooter got you sad. You know what I'm saying? A reference to young Scooter. And, there's a reference to Casino, the Future's brother. You treat my deaf brother like your own brother. Casino is in my will right next to my mama. So, he's just saying, oh, you got love for my brother. I got love for your brother too. So without saying Future's name, you know that he's speaking about Future. The next verse is for Savage. He starts off, Savage, you a real, don't let them tell you different. And he just talks about his relationship with Savage, he says, I wish the internet could hear the calls. I'm so serious. First of all, I don't think the internet needs to hear no more calls. That's for one. But I mean, Thug is right in the sense that I think the calls that all came out online was really bad for him. It didn't make him look good. And there were probably a bunch of other calls that didn't make him look as bad, right? So he says, I wish the internet could hear the calls. I'm so serious, like how I got you and Wham on the phone to settle differences. So he squashed the beef between Savage and Baby. He says, you tried to get me and Lucci on the phone plenty. Wife and Lucci and Thug highly publicized beef. So, Savage tried to squash that. You tried to get me and Lucci on the phone plenty, like how I got Pluto and Drizzy on another mission. Again, going back, Drake and Future, going back to lending support to that idea that Drake and Future may be in a better place than they were after the We Don't Trust You album. But like how I got Pluto and Drizzy on another mission, it might not even work out, but at least I could say that I did it. So we'll kind of see what happens with Drake. With Drake and Future. Next verse is for Gucci, who he mentored Thug, brought Thug into the game, and man, I miss my dog, 1017, this shit for life. Me and you against the world. We back to back plenty nights. He goes on. Guwat word is law. He says, man, please, I'm not a rat. So he's just kind of talking, I guess to Gucci. I don't know if him and Gucci had a conversation, but kind of an apology to Gucci. Like that's the OG, that's the guy who put him on in the game. And now there's dirt on Thug's name. So he's apologizing to Gucci. And then the last verse is for his family, his mom, his dad, his siblings, who, you kind of really, really get the sense how important family is to Thug. Again, that Big Bank interview was Big Bank did an amazing job, man. Whole first hour of the interview is Thug just talking about how he grew up, like in the circumstances that he grew up in, and all of his siblings and his mom, and so you really get a sense of how important family is to him, and this last verse reflects that. So overall, the song is interesting. I commend it because at least it's Thug putting out his real feelings. When Money on Money dropped, Money on Money, remember, was the first kind of lead-off single with him and Future. It dropped, I think in April. It dropped in the springtime. But when Money on Money dropped, I did a video on it. I talked about how cliche the subject matter was, or how cliche I thought it was. And what had Thug just went through with that trial was so unprecedented. Like we had never seen anything quite like that. It was just it was a long trial, and it was a strange trial. It was like strange things happening in the courtroom every day. And I felt for what Thug had just came out of, I felt like he had perspective. He had a story to tell, and Money on Money just seemed like very like paint by numbers rap joint. This the joint I'm supposed to make. This the joint that they want to hear. This like the formula joint. Get Future on it. Talk about some money. Blah 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 blah. And it didn't work. The record didn't really stick at all. Right. I just felt like he had something realer to offer. So opening up in this way on this song, as opposed to how he did on Money, is a step in the right direction to me. But I just felt like the execution of the song wasn't it. I liked the beat. I thought the beat was really perfect. It set like a really dope tone. I think London on the track may have been involved as a producer or co-producer. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But I thought I read somewhere that London was a part of it. And so I thought the track was perfect for setting up the emotion of the song, but I just felt like the song was all over the place. I love the sentiment of the singing, but I felt like the singing slid all over the place at times. Like the vocals felt like in and out of key at times, and the actual rapping wasn't great. I thought the verses was too long. He did, but again, it felt really personal. So he dedicated one verse to each person. I think he could have condensed that and made it more of an enjoyable song. I didn't think that the rapping was actually great, but he did create a moment. I don't know how many times I'll go back to this to press play. I wonder if it'll make the album. But I don't know if I'll go back to this to press play. I could see this maybe being a bonus joint or something like that. But I don't know how many times I'll go back to this. But if Thug is gonna get back to being great musically, I think he has to continue to give us something real. And that doesn't mean that he has to apologize every time. That doesn't mean that he has to humble himself in these kind of ways. Because we're used to seeing Thug up here. And he is really, I commend him for sitting with Big Bang and allowing himself to be challenged. I think that is commendable, whether you agree with him or not. I think the fact that he sat there and in the line of questioning and address those questions in as real a way as he can, I think that's a step in the right direction. I commend it. But, I don't think I'm not necessarily saying he has to humble himself, but and on every track, but just give us some real stories, give us some real emotions, give people just something that they could feel and they could relate to. He's in a fucked up position, but all of us have been in fucked up positions before. It's part of being human. And I think musically speaking, at least, because this is his life, so he has other ways to go about it. But musically speaking, how he navigates this is important. So it'll be interesting to see what's on that album. Again, I commend the direction on this. Didn't love the song, but as an artist, as a man, if you had something to get off your chest, then get it off. I get it. Get it off. Those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, we're gonna talk back on the next one. All right, peace.